Many people know Luka Doncic as the Wonder Boy, and as the kid that took the entire NBA by storm immediately upon his arrival to the league, he's made his transition to the NBA appear seamless and easy. But what many people may not know, and opposite to what many also believe, his path to NBA superstardom was far from easy. Join us now as we take a look at the untold story about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was born on February 28, 1999 in Ljubljana, the capital city of Slovenia. His parents, Miriam Potterbin and Sasha Doncic, provided him with a very good childhood. Doncic's mother was a model and owned multiple beauty salons, while his father was a basketball coach and former professional player. According to them, baby Luka first touched the basketball when he was just 7 months old. Being a pro player himself, Sasha Doncic was nothing short of happy, and by the time Luka turned 1 year old, he already had a mini hoop set up in his room. But neither him nor his parents had a clue of how big of a basketball star Luka would become in the future. Even when it was his first love, Luka played many other sports besides basketball as a kid. His other favorite was soccer, which is very popular in Europe and is actually the sport many young kids from overseas dream about playing professionally one day. But as he grew up, Luka decided to quit soccer because he was a really tall kid for his age. That's when he decided he would focus fully on basketball, and his mother believes it was the best decision he's ever made. "I think that Luka was born to play basketball," said Miriam Potterbin. He had everything on his side, from genetics to a personal coach in his father. Luka began playing organized basketball at age 7 at his elementary school in Ljubljana. He was a great kid, always smiling, says Cisco, director of the youth program at Doncic's childhood club in Slovenia. Every day after practice ended, he went to the court outside and practiced more. Doncic would also often go with his father for his local games, where Luka served as the ball boy and mopped the hardwood during his dad's games. Luka's mom says her child's obsession was ball, ball, ball. She said it was always just, and she flicked her wrist and made a swoosh sound. He was so in love with basketball. Unfortunately, things started falling apart soon after. Luka has rarely ever addressed his relationship with his father, Sasha. It's widely believed that the animosity stems from his parents' divorce when he was just 8 years old. Not only did Miriam Potterbin and Sasha Doncic have personal issues that they couldn't figure out, but Miriam had always raised Luka mostly by herself. As a pro basketball player, Sasha would often be absent for lengthy periods of time during his childhood. We don't know the full story and probably never will, but it's safe to say Luka's relationship with his father is still a rocky one. He wasn't there with Luka when he got drafted, but his mother was. She still lives with Luka in Dallas, and she's been there every step of the way. And this was the way things had been during Luka's childhood anyways. And that's only the personal side of stuff. Luka and his father never meshed too well as a player-coach duo either. According to Luka, they once tried it for a short period, but it just didn't go well. It's hard to have a successful player-coach relationship when there's also a father-son bond in between. Add in the fact that their father-son bond wasn't the most amicable one, and it isn't hard to realize why their attempt to work together was unsuccessful. Doncic appears to be resenting something that happened between his parents during his childhood. After the divorce, Miriam was granted legal guardianship of Luka, which only made the relationship between him and his father that much farther. Sasha has been mostly away from Luka, and even more so now when he's an NBA superstar. He's back home in Europe while Doncic is having the time of his life in America. And it's ironic because Sasha's influence on Luka is undeniable, and he's probably the biggest reason why Doncic first fell in love with basketball. But they still live far away from each other today, because Luka could never get the best out of being the son of a successful pro baller due to their personal issues. Still, Luka found his own way to become a basketball standout. A mix of strong passion, an incomparable competitive edge, and countless hours of hard work and practice helped Doncic become one of the elite youth players in Europe. A big part of his development, both as a player and as a young boy, involved facing bigger adversities than what many fellow kids were at the time. "I was playing with guys who were 9 or 10, and that was the beginning," Doncic recalls. "I was always training and playing with older kids who had much more experience than me. Many of them were bigger and faster than me too, so I had to beat them with my brain." This is where his brilliant IQ comes in. Even when you look at him in the NBA today, he's not the best athlete or the best shooter. He just happened to develop an uncanny awareness on the basketball court that always allowed him to be a step ahead of everyone else. Scouts from the Real Madrid basketball club noticed Doncic during a visit to his hometown when he was 13 years old. They offered him a 5-year contract immediately after, inviting him to relocate to Madrid and live alongside fellow young basketball and football prospects. Consider how good one must be at 13 years old to get offered a contract from one of the biggest and most famous basketball clubs in Europe. That's how good Luka was. Perhaps they saw he was really good, but it's hard to imagine them having even a clue about how soon Doncic would become one of the best players in Europe. And as good as the opportunity was for the 13-year-old Doncic to develop in an elite youth system as Real Madrid's, moving to Spain was still a struggle for him. Madrid offered him a chance to grow so much more as a player than he ever could if he stayed home. But Slovenia was all he had ever known, and all of his family and friends were there. "I was just a kid," Doncic says about when he moved to Spain. "All my friends, school, family, everything was in Slovenia. But after I learned Spanish, it was easier to communicate and to make new friends." The transition wasn't only hard for him, as his mother also had a very hard time adjusting to life with her son living 1,200 miles away from her. She described Luka's first couple of years in Madrid as crazy hard times for her, and that she cried plenty every single weekend in the plane when she returned to Slovenia from visiting Luka in Spain. As hard of a time he was having off the court, that didn't seem to translate when he was on the court. "When you go to the court, you just change," Doncic says. "You're a different person." Luka thrived within head coach Paco Redondo's system and was in charge of the under-16 team. About 6 months after his arrival to the club, Doncic earned MVP honors of the under-16 Spain Championship as he led Real Madrid to the tournament's championship. He started developing quicker than many, perhaps even more than Luka himself expected. Everything started coming full circle for Doncic once again. He was dominating the under-18 circles as a 15-year-old. Much like when he first started playing basketball as a child and had to be promoted to older groups after toying with fellow 7-year-olds. He was so good that on April 30th, 2015, Luka made his professional debut for Real Madrid in the Liga ABC. He became the youngest player ever to appear in a Liga ABC game for Real Madrid, as well as the third youngest debutant in league history at 16 years, 2 months, and 2 days of age. It was a new reality. Doncic was no longer playing with and against players 2 or 3 years older than him. He was now in a locker room filled with grown-up men and facing seasoned EuroLeague veterans. Hits were now harder, as it isn't the same to be fouled in the paint by a teenager than by a fully grown adult athlete. And the mental toll of playing under a brighter spotlight and against the best Europe had to offer also got tougher. Luka credits former teammates Sergio Llull and Sergio Rodriguez, 2 of the best players in the league, as the 2 people he learned the most from during his time with Real Madrid. Doncic never took his foot off the pedal and continued to train equally as hard as his playing time and opportunities to shine increased. And most importantly, he never let the pressure get the worst of him. According to Doncic, he truly began thinking he could be something in pro basketball when he started getting regular minutes with Real Madrid's senior team in 2016. He appeared in almost every game of the season and averaged 5 points in almost 13 minutes per game. But it wasn't until the 2017-18 campaign when Doncic started making not only national, but international headlines. He finished the season averaging 18.4 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 4.7 assists on 24.3 minutes per game, as well as a Liga ABC championship. His NBA draft stock quickly started rising to the point he was a number 1 in multiple big boards and mock drafts. Some people in America were still skeptical about a kid so young being so good, but the hype became undeniable when Doncic became both the Liga ABC MVP and EuroLeague MVP in 2018. And fast forward to a couple of years into his NBA career, it's crazy to think how much better he's become in such a short period of time. By his 3rd season, Doncic was already in the MVP conversation. How many third-year players can you name that were that good? He hasn't been gifted anything in his career, dating back to his childhood. He earned his place in the Real Madrid youth development team, rose up through the system, and became an MVP in front of Europe's eyes with the senior team. Now he's doing the same in America. But what's the secret behind that? Not only a lot of training and practicing, but a superbly tough spirit and resiliency to fight through adversity. He had to endure his parents' divorce, leaving to an unknown country with a different language, becoming a man as a 16-year-old in a veteran's locker room. Many others would have crumbled behind the personal and professional pressure Doncic had to endure so early in his life. Now, everything may seem perfect in Luka's life. He's an NBA superstar, he has money, fame, everything. The only thing he's missing is a father. And not the pro baller and coach, but the paternal figure that was absent for more than half of his life. After being drafted in 2018, Sasha Doncic published an open letter to his son. What is the meaning of being a good father? Now, I am sure that I have the answer to this question, Sasha wrote. I was never perfect. But Luka, my son, could you live without your child? You were only 13 when Real Madrid visited Slovenia to take you to their team that was far away from us. It really hurt me, but I was also extremely touched and excited. We wanted to have you with us, but I would never allow myself to let you miss out on such a great opportunity. This might mean being a good father, Luka. The day will come when you'll be able to answer that question. Now, I can tell you that I tried and did my best. I tried to be the best father you could possibly have. Sasha might have apologized for everything that went through between them, We might never know what it was, as Luka is yet to re-establish a relationship with his dad, but perhaps doing so will give him everything he's missing. As much as Luka had to scratch and claw to earn everything he has today, he wouldn't be here without his father. He's a vital part of his story and of his love for basketball. Now it's up to Luka to embrace his past and let his father back into his life to give his story a happily ever after ending. What's your favorite part about Luka's story? Will he become the best European player ever by the time he calls it a career? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel.